You're so sweet like honey, baby.
เ อ Bye. Thank you.
Cabin. Storage space is limited. Please keep full-size batteries or fragile items under the seat behind you. Also, please ensure that all electronic devices are set